tell us about the functioning of TIE? What is trying to achieve right now in under your presidency?
So, TIE's mission has always been to foster entrepreneurship, and towards that, we have to continue, especially in Silicon Valley, we have to make sure that TIE continues to be relevant because as entrepreneurs have, this is the heart of entrepreneurship in the world, and the entire ecosystem comes together from a technology entrepreneurship perspective. You have some of the largest companies, you have the largest investors, and you have the best universities that are all feeding entrepreneurship. So, with that, over the years, 31 years ago, the Indian American community did not have access to the investors or to the corporate executives. And that was why TIE was formed then. But today, we have a lot more access. So, today, what we have to do is focus on sparking entrepreneurship in the younger generation. So, we have youth programs, we have mentorship programs that will bring together university students who are interested in entrepreneurship. We also are very focused on the next generation of entrepreneurs that is coming from outside of the US, that is seeking to come to Silicon Valley to have the Silicon Valley experience. So, TIE Silicon Valley hosts a lot of cohorts that come from India, from Israel, from Canada, from the Americas, from Latin America. And we have curated programs for them whereby we give them a 1 week experience where they can talk to executives and business leaders and investors, like you saw today. They would be brought in and they would be giving them their tips, and also some of them are also very willing to be mentors to these startups that come. So that is the big role that we are playing now, and that's where we are focused on. My big focus is really the next generation and keeping the TIE brand strong and making sure that the TIE network truly is a global network that will foster entrepreneurship not just in California but across the country.
You host a lot of young entrepreneurs from India, right? How do you see the talent in them? What kind of, as you compare to the rest of the world, what kind of talent are emerging from the Indian?
I don't know if I can necessarily compare to the rest of the world because my exposure is mostly to when I look at the cohort, it is mostly from Canada or from Israel or from India, and these are all countries that are very well advanced.
Right.
I smile because I see our young startups and entrepreneurs from India. They can go shoulder to shoulder with any of our entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley or in the United States. What the world has become very small, and what globalization has done, and what technology has done is that it has given a common language to the entrepreneurs, common set of metrics on how they look at valuations, how they look at SaaS metrics. So that's, I think that's what makes it's an equalization that allows for an entrepreneur to compete in any country for any investment from anywhere because they're speaking the same language. The accent may be different, but the knowledge is the same. The metrics are the same. The key deliverables are the same.
Um, uh, in last 9 years, India has evolved a lot in the digital format. Digitalization has taken on a massive scale under Prime Minister Modi. This India Stack is also one of them. How do you see India has evolved? How does TIE sees looks at India in the digital domain? How it has transformed under him?
India's the India technology stack has just been amazing. I mean, it almost at many levels, it makes those of us who are here in the US feel like we are a little behind in taking technology to the common person and eliminating middlemen. We are still doing checks. We're doing some of the old ways, but the India stack has actually made use technology to get the uh, the government programs and subsidies to the common person and to the person who needs it the most. So that's really been amazing. Excuse me. In terms of how I see it evolve, uh, where I think that there is a huge opportunity. India started at the turn of the century with the Y2K and a lot of outsourcing. And now it is much more India's focus on startups and the Modi government focus on startups. We're seeing a lot of conversations, a lot of initiatives. Certainly, India has its own uh, class and breed of unicorns. So it's not a matter of what the government will do. The young talent in India is unstoppable. So they are not necessarily looking for uh, help from outside. They're able to. The Indian market is so big, it's so ripe. I mean, the fact that a vendor and a sabjiwala today in India uses Paytm, that's amazing. That tells you how, how technology has moved. And uh, and so I think that there are two aspects. One is the Indian market and the Indian startups fueling and really servicing that market, and then those very Indian startups with the emerging technologies like AI, like quantum, deep technology, those startups also then coming to the US. We find that there is a class of startups that start in India. They do their proof of concept, they get a footprint in India, and then they feel like the larger market and expansion has to be done in the United States. So then they want to come to the US. Those are also some of the startups that TIE is involved in helping in connecting them to the right people in the United
As you
States.
discussed that the government plays a very important role in facilitating a lot of things and creating that kind of ecosystem, and in India it looks like these things are being done step by step. What are the other steps that the Indian government can take to further accelerate the process of unicorns or startups or digital domain?
I don't know if I'm best equipped for that, but I think that the two steps that we can take from a talent perspective, and that one of them is that there are lots of colleges and schools that are mushrooming all over India that give technical degrees, and I think that there has to be some kind of a standard, that is the it's not clear to me that everything is UGC based or supervised, and so the variation in the talent skills that is coming out from some of these universities is not consistent, and therefore they're not well equipped to necessarily get on the job and run because they're not well prepared. So everybody tends to go to the IITs, the BITS Pilanis, all of the better regional engineering colleges that have been known for the years. So the new emerging colleges that are mushrooming all over, there are two things that happen. Either they are taking a lot of money from you know students who don't know any better, but those students are not getting really, they're not getting the skills, and hence they're not getting the jobs. So what the Indian government can do is have some kind of a standardization process that will make sure that they actually do churn out skilled talent from these other universities and colleges that are coming up.
So that's one improving upon the education system,
Yes,
right? And
so especially the private ones, right?
private ones.
Yeah.
What would you message to the young entrepreneurs in India?
My message is that this next 2 decades is India's to win and India's to lose. And it is in the hands of the youth of India to make sure that India will win this next 2 decades and emerge as one of the rising powers in the world. And we have the technology. India has been blessed with a young population, a value system that focuses on education, and a value system that focuses on family values. That goes a very long way in young entrepreneurs' confidence for success. So my message is dream big and achieve big.
If you can explain for, sort of say, the next 2 decades important for India either to win or lose, what is that for?
What I mean is that, all of the stars are aligned for India to win. So we have to do, so the Indian youth and the Indian entrepreneur has to maybe do something deliberately wrong in order to fail. The momentum is all there. The India US corridor has been opened up. There is a lot of the recognition of Indian talent, the recognition of Indian management skills are all there. It's everybody in the world recognizes that. So it is up to the entrepreneurs now to really not just have a not just create the next technology, but also to take that next technology to rural India to make sure that we are uplifting the entire country. And because ultimately, growth of India will depend on the masses, and not all of the masses are in the urban India.
And
And
what role do you think Thai can play in India's development, or Thai members can play in India?
well, one of the big roles is that we already have so many Thai chapters emerging in India, and so we have a lot of programs and lot of participation from our Indian chapters. So I think the mission of fostering entrepreneurship in not just the primary cities of India, but in the tier one, the tier two, and tier three cities. We're just looking at opening something in Jammu and Kashmir. We've opened, chapters in many different parts of Rajasthan, in Gujarat, in Madhya Pradesh, and so on. So I think that is the Thai ecosystem is going to continue to expand in India, and we would like the young entrepreneurs to take advantage of that.